What do you think about the state of, let's say, European companies right now in terms of earnings season as we sort of get towards wrapping it up?
Well, I don't think, I mean, earnings have been okay, I think, in aggregate. I think the issue is sort of a bit probably overshadowed by what we're seeing in terms of what we were just talking about in terms of the virus hits. But, you know,
how much is it overshadowed? I mean, how much are the fundamentals overshadowed by this issue?
I think the expectations for earnings in Q1 are going to be hit materially by this in most regions, and certainly in Europe for the big cyclicals where they're a play to some extent on what's happening in China and in Asia.
So as a result, you're looking at, when you get fourth quarter numbers out, you're saying, don't care, show me the outlook for Q1.
I mean, yeah, because we kind of, the fourth quarter numbers are telegraphed, right? Yes, there are 76% of companies beating, you know, it's the usual game. Last year globally, earnings declined.
I laugh because I've been, you know, this is a figure I've been thinking about for 20 years. Right. 76% beat every quarter.
And we've moved on to the revenue line and only 2/3 beat that. But, you know, that's the game. There's not going to be an enormous shock to to Q4 earnings. Yes, at the individual company level, of course, but in aggregate, which is what we care about in terms of asset allocation, there's not going to be a big shock. The real question is 2020. So first quarter earnings are going to be hit negatively almost certainly by the virus. Well, 2019 globally, earnings declined in every region, apart incidentally from Europe. Europe actually eked out a small gain in dollars in terms of earnings. So 2020, you've got to get the earnings coming through. Now, the global consensus is, again, as usual, plus 10%. But that's going to take a hit in Q1. The region expecting the strongest gains, according to the consensus bottom-up numbers, is Asia Pacific, up 15%. That isn't going to happen. It's certainly going to take a hit in Q1. So I think the market's looking through this completely, but I do think there is an issue around if you start the year with much lower earnings coming through, then it's a bigger stretch for the rest of the year. And you're seeing it now with, you know, governments talking down numbers in terms of GDP growth. I think what matters is the 2020 numbers, not so much Q4.